And following the prayer, members, please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning, Senators. Happy Statehood Day. Thank you for the invitation to be here today, and thank you all for the work that you have done this session. Let us pray. Holy One, who today I call upon as God of light, as we commemorate this Statehood Day, we pause here to remember our history, stories told and untold, stories still to be recovered and shared. And we give thanks for all of the people of Minnesota who make it what it is today, all the people who are represented by the senators in this room today. Lead and guide these senators as they do the work they are called to do today, leading us in our quest to embrace what we all know to be true, that everyone who calls this great state home, yesterday and today, and in the days and years to come, we, all of us together, make Minnesota what it is, l'Etoile du Nord. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, members. The Secretary will take the roll.
Abler, Anderson, Barr, Bolden, Carlson, Champion, Coleman, Swadzinski, Dames, Dibble, Dornick, Draheim, Drazkowski, Duckworth, Diedzik, Eichhorn, Farnsworth, Fateh, Frentz, Green, Gruenhagen, Gustafson, Hochschild, Herr, Hoffman, Housley, Howe, Jasinski, Johnson, Klein, Coran, Kroon, Kunish, Kupek, Lang, Latz, Liskey, Limmer, Lucero, Mann, Marty, Matthews, May Quaid, McEwen, Miller, Mitchell, Mohammed, Morrison, Murphy, Nelson, Umu Verbaten, Pappas, Pa, Port, Pratt, Putnam, Rarick, Rasmussen, Rest, Seeberger, Utke, Weber, Wiesenberg, Westland, Westrom, Wickland, Zhang.
Members, pursuant to Rule 14.1, the following members intend to vote under Rule 40.7. Bowden, Draheim, Miller, Nelson, and Port. Members, a quorum is present. Members, needless to say, I am looking at today's agenda if you want to follow along. Today is Thursday, May 11, 2023, and it is a special day for us. As you'll see at the top of your agenda, it is Statehood Day. So I thought I would just mention that today is Statehood Day and is the 165th anniversary of Minnesota's admission into the Union, which happened when President Buchanan signed the legislation that made Minnesota the 32nd state. It took 2 weeks to get the news to reach St. Paul because there were no telegraph lines or railroads in Minnesota at the time. State officers finally took their oaths of office on May 24th, 1858. Each year, the rotunda chandelier is turned on throughout Statehood Day. In connection with Statehood Day, the Historical Society has created a display that is located on the first floor, north of the rotunda corridor, that highlights the 1857 State Constitutional Convention and the creation of 2 constitutions that ultimately led to statehood for Minnesota. So if you ever had a chance to see that chandelier and not see it lit, today is the day. So I would encourage you to do so. So now I will get to our agenda. We will begin with the third order of business. Nope, let me go back. The second order of business, executive and official communications. The following communication was received. Please make note of it. No action is required. We will now proceed to the third order of business, messages from the House. One message to be read. The Secretary will read the message.
Mr. President, I have the honor to announce that the House refuses to concur in the Senate amendments to House File Number 1370. House File Number 1370, a bill for an act relating to public safety, establishing a cause of action for non-consensual dissemination of deepfake sexual images. The House respectfully requests that a conference committee of 3 members be appointed thereon. Stevenson, Bonner, and Farr have been appointed as such committee on the part of the House. House File Number 1370 is herewith transmitted to the Senate with a request that the Senate appoint a like committee. Signed, Patrick D. Murphy, Chief Clerk, House of Representatives.
Senator McQuaid for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate accede to the request of the House for a conference committee on House File 1370, and that a conference committee of 3 members be appointed by the Subcommittee on Conference Committee on the part of the Senate to act with a like conference committee appointed on the part of the House.
Senator McQuaid moved that the Senate accede to the request of the House for a conference committee on House File Number 1370, and that a conference committee of 3 members be appointed by the Subcommittee on Conference Committees on the part of the Senate to act with a like conference committee appointed on the part of the House. Any discussions on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Members, we will now proceed to the 5th order of business. Reports of committees. Senator Disick for a motion to lay appointments on the table.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the committee report pertaining to the appointment be laid on the table.
To that motion, any questions, any discussions? All in favor say aye. All opposed say no. The motion prevails. Members, we will now proceed to the 8th order of business. Introduction and first reading of Senate bills. The bills listed on today's introduction calendar are given their first reading and referred as indicated. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Senator Disick, I'm calling on you for a motion on behalf of Senator McEwen.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of Senator McEwen, I move that the appointments withdrawn from the Committee on Labor and placed on the confirmation calendar under Senate Rule 8.2, reported in the Journal for May 11th, 2023, be returned to the committee from which they were withdrawn.
Any discussions on that motion? Seeing none, to that motion, all in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Senator Abler.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I would like to make a motion. I would like to, and I'll explain it, and then you can see what we can do about it. But I move that the conference committees be required to hold a public hearing on the agreed-upon conference committee report 24 hours before it's voted out of the conference committee and signed. I'll wait for the clerk to report it, and then I'll offer a comment, Mr. President.
Well, I will report it. Senator Abler moves that the conference committee be prohibited. And now is this both two, right? Or is it just,
Just the one for now, one at a time.
Okay. Senator Abler moves that the conference committee be required to hold a public meeting on the agreed-upon conference committee report 24 hours before it is voted out of the conference committee and signed. Give me a moment.
That's my point. It might not be.
Yep. Mr. President? I know. Mr. President, point of order.
If you give me one moment.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, you might say you have to wait. You might have to say we have to wait.
Senator Disick, to your point of order, for what purpose do you rise?
Thank you, Mr. President. I ruled that this is out of order pursuant to Rule 58, amendments to rules. So I believe this would be every proposition to amend a rule to the Senate must be referred to the Committee on Rules and Administration.
Mr. President.
Any advice? Senator Abler.
Mr. President, I appreciate when you ask for advice. I've learned when I take advice, I learn something, and the world is a better place, and I often discover that I'm right or wrong. But my advice would be, Mr. President, that even though there are joint rules, the Senate has the right to expect a certain amount of decorum from its senators. And the thing that I'm trying to address is many of these conference committees, the one I'm on in particular, on the Health Committee, has not met and has not even communicated with me what they're doing. As I wrote and so I thought the public would be interested to know this as well. And so simply, we've had some conference reports come over that, they're not minor, Mr. President, they're all very important. But some of the biggest ones are yet to be seen. And the one that I'm thinking of, the health one and even the human services one, are going to be lengthy. And so I'm just trying to assure in my efforts here that the public would have a way to actually know what's in there. Since we have plenty of time, we're over a week away. And so I believe it is in order for us to require that the senators, at least, would stand to their guns and say, members, we want to make sure this is known. I have requested both of the, and so since there's no public hearings going on in some of these conference committees, then that's problematic, and I think it's just not where we want to be at, Mr. President. I don't think that when people ran here, they knocked on the door and said, I'm going to do all my work in secret, and then drop it on you as a 500-page amendment. So, Mr. President, I urge that the point of order be not well taken. Thank you.
Having had an opportunity to consult as well as read the rules, both in our joint rules as well as Mason's, the point of order is well taken.
Mr. President?
Senator Abler.
I'm not going to appeal your ruling. I appreciate your thoughts there, and you actually could be right on that one. But this one, Mr. President, I think that we're going to appreciate the interest behind this one. So, Mr. President, I would move that the conference committees be prohibited from meeting on Mother's Day, Sunday, May 14th.
To that motion.
Mr. President?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're
Hold on,
going
one
to
moment.
have a conversation again. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Vice Senator Abler, to your motion, or if you want to discuss it.
Oh, absolutely, Mr. President. I thought that Senator Disick was raising him, but so yeah, but so here's the thing: we actually have had conference activity on Mother's Day. I remember Senator Berglund completed one of her conference committees on Mother's Day. In the past, there have been other meetings on Mother's Day. And Mr. President, I have to admit this is a kind of a selfish one. I mean, we all have mothers we want to be with. I'm meeting, and it could well be that I'm having a brunch with my mom at 11 o'clock. On Sunday morning, and she is so excited to sit there with her little Jimmy, which is what she calls me, and I just don't want to have that my duties here conflict with that, and I'm sure many of the rest of us would like to know that. And Mr. President, there's enough days, and I think as a Senate we could agree that this is just something we don't want to do. Thank you.
Senator Disick.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're on motions and resolutions, and I know we'd made a motion, but I would like to see a printed copy of that and distributed so that everybody knows what we're looking at. And when we meet is kind of decided based on, we have a schedule, and we have a schedule coming up, and we know at the end of session we usually do continue to meet. I know I have said, and in the past few years we haven't met on Mother's Day, so I know that we have deadlines coming up, but I think that Senator Johnson and I can have that discussion on when we meet and when we meet coming forward. But at some point here, I will tell everybody, we will be meeting every day. That's just to get everything done. That's what we do. That's typical. So I would also question if this is a specific motion that it is not germane and it should be an amendment to the rules pursuant to Rule 58.
For the same reasons, I find the point of order.
Mr. President? May I just ask the majority leader to yield for a question? Would that be appropriate?
Not on a point of order.
All right. Well, Mr. President, I'm going to offer advice then to you, even though I believe you're ready to rule. So, Mr. President, out of humanity to my mother and the many mothers that are here, I would rather just simply withdraw the amendment rather than have you rule and make my mom weeping, and that maybe I can't help her out. So, Mr. President, I just would, as I'm offering you advice, so Mr. President, if you could offer advice to the leadership here on both sides that meeting on Mother's Day would be a particularly bad idea. And with that, Mr. President, I will withdraw my motion. Thank you.
Motion withdrawn. Senator Disick for a motion to recess.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, we're going to recess here shortly, and the DFL will caucus about 15 minutes after we're done here in room 303. But I would ask members to stay in the chamber immediately after we recess because we have some special guests up in the chamber up in the gallery that we'd like to acknowledge.
Senator Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Republicans will be caucusing in 323 immediately following adjournment for recess.
Senator Dzik.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we recess until the call of the President.
On that motion, all in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. The Senate is in recess. Senator Rarick.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. It's my honor to stand here today to introduce to the Senate some folks that are in the gallery with us today. A number of years ago, Senator Newman was instrumental in establishing the Taiwanese Friendship Caucus here in the Minnesota legislature, and I am the one who was chosen to take his place on that caucus. And, you know, Minnesota's relationship with Taiwan goes back a long way. Back in 1984, Minnesota and Taiwan established a sister state relationship. And through that relationship, our ties have grown stronger and stronger. Taiwan is a great partner with the United States and Minnesota. Back in 2021, Taiwan did $3.9 billion worth of business with farm products in the United States. And just recently, they made a commitment with Minnesota to do $2.6 billion worth of ag business with corn and soybeans with just the state of Minnesota. And so, and I know for that reason, we as well have Ag Commissioner Tom Peterson in the gallery with the group as well. And another member in the gallery from the Taiwan office based out of Chicago is Mr. Jay Lin. And then we have a large delegation of folks from the Taiwan American Association based here in Minnesota as well. They so appreciate that we are taking the time to strengthen our ties and renew our commitment to supporting Taiwan and the relationships and the trade that we have. Like I said, not only is it around agriculture, it is around the semiconductor business, it is around our colleges, and so many other areas. And so, Mr. President, members, I want you to know that we are going to be presenting the Chicago office with a ceremonial resolution that has been signed by our Majority Leader Dzik, Minority Leader Johnson, President Champion, and then Senator Hoffman and I, who are the Taiwan Friendship Caucus. And then we also have a Minnesota state flag that was flown over the Capitol this very morning that we will present to the Chicago office as well. So with that, Mr. President, I would like the Chamber to recognize our guests from Taiwan and express to them our continued support.
Thank you, members. Just a reminder, we're in recess.
Mr. President? Peppa Pappas.
Senator Pappas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just also want to extend my welcome, Senator Sandy Pappas, because I was honored to lead a delegation with Senator Rest a number of years ago to Taiwan, and we greatly appreciated and enjoyed our visit. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. All right, members, we're in recess until the call of the President.